Hello everybody, Brian here with CalFig. Gonna do episode number 2, how to up pot these nice cuttings that you got. So you spent the money, you're getting roots, and you need to know what's next. So a lot of us that have been doing this for a while, this is my 7th year now, we know that the easy part is getting the roots, okay? We've got our moss, we got the roots, now we gotta get them into pots. So I know many of you got our winter rooting for figs instructions in your orders, and I wanna show you. This is the shoebox style that I like to use as well as the gallon Ziploc bags. So I was looking at this one today and I said, holy mackerel, look at all these roots. So we're gonna use this one of these today. So I haven't even opened this up yet. It's a Swiffer box. I like it because it's heavy duty and it's sealed airtight. And I see these things are just busting like crazy. So let's get started. So what we're gonna do, these are the tools that we're gonna need here. So we gotta have our pot ready. Okay, I like this 8x3 pot, and it stands up on its own. I put a little piece of aluminum screen at the bottom to keep the soil from falling out. Okay, I like to use that. It's really easy. So let's take a look at what we got here for our roots. So this is what we're looking at. Okay, so you could see this. These are ready to go. So a lot of customers have been emailing me and showing me pictures of 1 or 2 little roots on the bottom of their cutting and saying, is this ready? And I said, nah, let's give it some time, because a lot of times they'll stall out. They just don't have the energy yet. You need to have a lot more roots. Okay, so let's open it up, see. Okay, so you see here, these are already breaking bud. This is just a really good scenario here, okay? So we're gonna pull one of these out, and you need to you need to be a little bit gentle with these too. So this one isn't quite ready. So when it's like this, I'm just gonna pull the whole thing out. Gonna lay it to the side, and you wanna be kind of careful. Okay, let's look at this one here. So how I remove the moss, you can kind of pull it off like this. I just kind of flick it, because you don't want to touch those roots. So if a few of these feel on there really snug, so I just leave them on. Okay, it's not going to hurt nothing. If you've got a big wad of them, it may rot the base. This is about ready to be up potted, but I'm going to keep it in here a little bit longer. I see some that look a lot thicker and healthier in here. So you'll feel them they kind of untangle on their own. This one looks good right here. Kind of shake it, okay. You kind of pull it off. So this is the next step. This is good. Okay, you see on the bottom the callus, remember I talked last time about looks like a donut? That's all sealed up, it's ready to go. Okay, so let's use this one here. This is Chipola, okay, a nice variety. Okay, so what do we do next? Okay, I'm gonna set this here to the side. Let's get our potting mix ready. So let's talk about the potting mix. Okay, this is one of my favorite parts. I call this the dreaded up pot, because this is where things can go awry real quick. Okay, so we want to make sure we have a well-draining mix. Okay, so a well-draining mix is going to have a mix of either half perlite or half pine bark mulch, something to where the water could drain well and not saturate the soil. If you saturate the soil, if you take your Miracle-Gro, pack it in here, put your cutting in there, the oxygen's gonna be gone, the roots are gonna rot, your plant's gonna be toast quick, okay? So you need a very, very fast draining mix. As far as what type of potting mix to use, well, I suggest Pro Mix. I also suggest Black Gold, which I use. There's also a Sunshine Aggregate. Some of these you can get at your local hydroponic hydroponic store, or we have an agriculture store down the street that carries it. You really want to use a good mix, and don't use anything like a compost or anything cheap. You could use that later when you put them in big pots. This is very specific right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fill our pot up, okay? So this mix is pretty dry. Okay, so we don't want to injure these roots, so I just take like you could use my fingers aren't quite long enough on a long cutting, so I just take the end of a flathead handle here, and you see I'm just pressing down. I'll press all the way almost towards down, okay? Okay, we're just going to slowly come up. Okay, we're going to take our cutting and just kind of twist it down in there very lightly. And then what we're going to do is, I just kind of pat the sides like that, okay? And then I'm going to fill it up to the top. Okay, this is a major thing here. You don't want to pack it in tight. Remember, we want water flowing through. We don't want the roots packed and compacted with mushy soil, okay? So it's light in here, all right? So we're going to set that here. Everything looks good. So this time of the year and this method, I like to water in the cutting. Okay, some people don't like to, but for this method, I like to, and there's a reason for it. Okay. Okay, not too much water, just a little bit like that. Okay, it's not very heavy. You can tell it's pretty light. It looks very white on top with all the perlite. It's a nice light mix. Okay, so the most important part is next. Okay, so your gallon Ziploc bag, throw it out. Okay, what you need is one of these types of bags right here. You get at your grocery store for the vegetables. It's very breathable. It's very lightweight. So we're going to take it and we're just going to put it over like that. Okay, and so what we're doing is we're creating a little humidity dome. So what this is going to do is keep everything nice and humid, because I believe that the cuttings still kind of breathe. If you don't use a bag, there's a good chance that it's not going to root and any of the new leaves coming out are going to dry. Okay, so it's very important that you use some type of humidity. And I really like the bags, these thin bags, because it could touch the buds and leaves once they bud out, and it won't rot them. So if you use a gallon Ziploc and any of these new buds that pop out or leaves touches that Ziploc, it basically melts and rots, okay? So don't do it. So what we're gonna do next with it is we're gonna put it in a warm, dark area. So, like your rooting temperatures, 75 degrees. If you can get 80 degrees in a little greenhouse, that is optimal, because we're in a race right now, okay? We're in a race to get the roots going before rot. If you set this in a cool area right now, it's gonna rot, it's not gonna root. That's the problem with uppotting, is you're in a race. You need heat and you need humidity, okay? But there's another critical step after that. Let me show you. So, let me grab my my handy dandy cutting right here. Okay. So it takes, the warmer the temperatures, the quicker they're gonna root, and you're gonna see buds breaking it in here. So this one is about 3 weeks, and I see some green in here, so I'm gonna pull it out. Okay. So what we can see is, it's broke a couple buds here. It's branching out nicely. I tug on it, firm, okay? This is a good sign. This plant right here is ready to be acclimated to the natural environment, okay? So, I just wanted to show you that, but my next step is we're gonna need to slowly open this bag, a couple cracks here and there. Slowly expose it to the air, okay? If you do it too fast, this leaf's gonna fry, and there's a good chance a lot of the top's gonna dry out, okay? So you still need to keep it somewhat humid because it's used to it. You could slowly transition this, okay? So looking at this particular cutting, I'd say you can leave it like this for about 2 or 3 days. After that, open it a little bit more, okay? Another couple days. After that, I think we're about good to go, okay? You don't want to have big leaves kept under the humidity tent. What happens if you let this thing get full and beautiful underneath this plastic bag? You're gonna have to try to get that thing to not drop its leaves. It's really tough. So you want to let this bag be out of the picture as quick as you can once you start getting leaves and good roots. Having to deal with leaves and trying to get them to certain temperatures is tough. So this is how it's going to look. Now this particular plant, we've got some nice temperatures right now. So you want to, when you're in the 50s at night, 60s during the day, you're fairly good to go ahead and put these outside. But if it's in the 30s and 40s, you really need to keep it inside. That's pretty risky. So we could go ahead and start giving this sun, and it's going to acclimate really easy. If you've got those big leaves, you let it sit in here too long, acclimating it is going to be really tough, and you're probably going to lose the leaves, okay? So that is the way I outpot. And I only do that this time of the year, okay? It's winter time. I do it differently other times of the year. So this is how it's going to look, and then probably a few weeks, it's going to have some more leaves, and it's rooted nicely. So that is today's how-to. This is going to be the second video, and our next video, I decided I'm going to do a how-to graft for beginners, okay? I feel like there's not much info out there on that, and I feel like I have some good tips for all the new people to learn how to graft your own plants. The figs are easy, and it's really fun because you could graft many trees off of one cutting. So stay tuned for the next episode. If you liked our show today, we just started on YouTube. Go ahead and click the subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.